everyone. Welcome to Monday evening art class. I hope you're all well. Had a lovely weekend or whatever. So if you've been to the art class before, you know what to expect. And funny enough, our model has done the art class many a time, so he knows what to expect, so he won't be too surprised. But if you haven't done it before, let me just explain that it started off as an art class that I used to do in a pub, but because of the virus, of course, the pub shut. So I started doing it online. But because we couldn't really see what anyone was doing, we thought, hi, Doug. We thought we'd better have a chit chat as well. So I've got lots of different guests on so I can find out their business, see what they're up to. Then you can draw them while we're chit chatting. But you can just listen if you want, but I'd really love it if you did try to draw something. If you haven't got anything handy, you can always find something, a felt pen, a bit of scrap paper, back of an envelope, lipstick. Just have a go. I mean, you can do a drawing in 1 minute if you really want to, even 10 seconds. So the model will try and stay still, but if you want to take a screenshot of him first, you're very welcome. So, oh, hi, Pauline. So that you can listen and draw and he won't be moving. She'll have a screenshot. When you finish your picture, if you could send it in via Facebook Messenger to Isolation Station Hastings. And if we've got a few in, we'll show them at the end. Otherwise, what we'll do is probably tomorrow pop a gallery. That's my favourite bit. And lots of people who don't even come to the class look forward to the gallery to look at everyone's pictures. So don't be shy though. Don't think, oh, it's rubbish, I shan't send it up. Just send it up. Whatever you do, it's all worthwhile and really lovely. So, I better explain as well. We had a bit of practice beforehand. And Donald's all the way in Dumfries. And it's a bit funny, the link on his computer. I mean, the picture of him's really great, but I don't think he can hear me properly. And he has to wait about 2 seconds between me asking a question and him answering. So it might mend itself, who knows? But if you could put up with that, that would be lovely. And if you want to ask Donald any questions, please do. And we'll put them up at the bottom and we'll discuss them. So without any further ado, live from Dumfries, it is Mr. Donald Urquhart. Is it?
Hi, Sue.
Oh, Donald, that was a marvellous entrance. I'm thrilled. I wasn't expecting that, so it made me laugh. I know you've got a love of old Hollywood film stars.
Yes, I do.
Yes. Right. Where shall we begin? I know what. Can you tell me a little... Oh, Karen, you love my glasses. These are the ones I was wearing yesterday. Oh, well. Hi, Hannah. Just say hello to people for a minute. Oh, hi, Net Bailey, a first timer. Welcome. Enjoy yourself. Oh, hi, Debbie. She's a regular. So tell us a bit about, didn't your mum have a fancy dress shop or a wig shop or something?
It was a wig shop. This was in the 60s. She thought that people in Dumfries would be joining the international fashion for big wigs. But no, it didn't catch on, and she ended up doing haircuts in the back shop.
Do you think it had a bit of an effect on you, those wigs?
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, my mum was in the theatre too, so from, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years old, I was going to the theatre all the time and trying on costumes, trying on wigs. Oh, I was on the stage, so yeah, big influence.
And so you went to sort of just regular school in Scotland, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, just
and then which school?
Sorry? I went to St Michael's School at first, and then St Joseph's College, and then repeated a year in second year at Dumfries High School, and then went to Dumfries Academy.
Ooh. And you didn't go to art school, did you, or did you?
I didn't actually, but I did. I went to Falkirk College of Technology to do a media course. This was in the, it wasn't like media is now.
Yeah.
communication studies, and but at the same time I was going to Glasgow School of Art to do life drawing in the evenings.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, how
oh yeah,
far
so
is Glasgow from Dumfries?
it's it's a couple of hours on the bus. So I don't know how many miles it is.
Oh, so it was a long journey then.
Well, no, I moved to Glasgow,
Oh, right, yeah.
and that's how eventually I moved to London.
So how did that mean you moved to London?
Well, I moved to Glasgow and dropped out of college, and then I couldn't get a job for ages until I got a job in a clothes shop called Cruise. I was going to move back to Dumfries at that
Crew?
point. Cruise, it was a high fashion store. And from there, I got a job in the warehouse, not the Jeff Banks warehouse,
No.
but another shop called the Warehouse. And of course, I was going out to clubs every night, and that's how I met the people that influenced me into moving to London.
I know, because you were really young when I first met you, weren't you? About 18 or something?
About
19?
19, yeah, I went down to London on holiday when I was about 19. And
Yeah.
in that week, I met you, and I met Lee Bowery, I met Scarlett, I met Louise Neal. I was staying with Angela. Remember Angela Farley?
Yeah. I
Uh,
think she lives in Brighton now.
yeah, Angela from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I was staying on her floor. I was on holiday for about a week, and I just decided that I was definitely moving to London. So I did.
Where did you meet Angela?
I met her in Maestro's, a little nightclub in Glasgow. It was
Oh,
the Frankie tour. There was
yeah.
her and Julie Lucy, and Julie Sissons had come along, I think, because she'd made the costumes.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, we just hit it off straight away and went out drinking. And she fell in love with Glasgow, and she came back for a holiday. Took her to Edinburgh, and then we went for a holiday in Liverpool as well. So
Oh, I love your holidays in these towns.
yeah, yeah. 19, living the life.
I know, it's lovely. And
Yeah,
so then was it? You were in London.
yeah. I got a reference from my employer which said Donald has a flair for fashion. And took that to Jones in the King's Road, and they looked me up and down and thought, oh yes, he's got a flair for fashion. So yeah, they took me on.
That just sounds like a magic story, really, doesn't it?
It's like
Just come.
something at a smash in time.
I know that you just get a job. Marvelous. And so you were you didn't even have to sort of wangle your way into the London nightclub scene. You were there as soon as you arrived.
I was there, I already knew everybody by the time I'd
Yeah.
moved to. Yeah.
Oh. And how long did you work at Jones?
Oh, it wasn't long. I think I lasted, I don't know if it was 6 months.
Oh,
It
it's
was
quite
definitely
long.
from the summer through Christmas, and I think by the end of January, I was going out every night. I was kind of groggy and hungover in the shop a lot of the
Yeah.
times. And then there was the fade away incident, which I don't think really helped my career.
Which incident?
Faye Dunaway.
Oh, what was
It
that
was,
incident?
well, she used to come into the shop all the time,
What
and
have they
she'd
done
always,
away?
yeah, she'd come in a great big floppy hat, big dark glasses,
Yeah.
crocheted waistcoat to the floor, and it'd be all very like this. You don't know who I am, do you?
Yeah.
She's going through. Oh, I love this, and she'd put this on hold for me. Shh, you don't know who I am. And one day I said to her, I said, Miss Dunaway, you'll be very glad to know that we don't have any wire coat hangers in this store. And she looked at me like this, and she went whoosh, and stormed off, never to return.
What, just because you called her name?
Well, because I'd mentioned Mommy Dearest
Oh,
inadvertently.
is that a thing from Mummy
Mention it.
Dearest?
She didn't want anyone to mention Mommy Dearest. It was just after that
Ah,
came out.
you see, that's me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that reference. But I do know that Americans really hate wire coat hangers.
I
I
can
went to
see.
stay with my friend in America and I had one hanging up and he goes, please, could you take that down? It's offending me.
They're a symbol of poverty.
I know.
Because
Oh,
Joan Crawford, her mother took in washing. Her
oh yeah.
mother did laundry, and wire coat hangers were what they used to give back people's laundry. Like once you'd pressed a garment, it would go in a wire hanger. So to use a wire hanger in your closet and not return them to the laundry for reuse meant you couldn't afford proper hangers, and that's why she
Oh,
hated wire ones.
oh, see, that's very interesting. So,
Yes.
where did you end up after Jones?
Place called Audience Selection, I think,
Oh,
for a
where
while.
everyone worked.
Yeah,
Some of
and
my models have worked there.
they have, yeah. Uh, and not long after that, I was discovered, and I was
Oh,
on the cover of
that looks
My
nothing like
Guy.
you. That's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
I know. Oh, and so you started doing photo love stories.
No, I didn't. I only
Oh,
did covers. I did
yeah,
8 My Guy covers, and this is the annual, 1987. Uh, I did some Women magazine. I was in Women as
oh,
almost a photo story,
yeah.
uh, and shortly after that, I moved to Japan.
What? Because she's just covered by a model agency.
I was discovered actually by David LaChapelle at first. He did some
Oh, yeah,
pictures. It was meant to be for Interview magazine, but they ended up
yeah,
in Blitz instead.
yeah.
And uh, yeah, then I started doing My Guy covers shortly after that. And once I'd done enough of them, I took them to an agency and they gave me a ticket to Japan.
What? So you were modelling in Japan?
I was there, yeah, I was. That was 86 and
Yeah.
87, I
Oh, they
think.
loved the
Yeah,
British then, didn't they? They're obsessed.
he did, yeah.
And how was that? Was it catwalk modelling or photographic modelling?
Mostly editorial, mostly photographic. I did a little bit of catwalk,
Yeah,
um, not so much, but yeah, I mean, look at me like that. I was so thin, really
yeah.
straight black hair, and I almost looked a little bit oriental. They used to say they thought I looked a bit half and half.
So was that popular then?
Yeah, it was, and also they thought I looked a bit androgynous, and that was very of that time, wasn't it? Mid
Yeah.
'80s.
Oh,
Yeah.
when you were on the cover of My Guy, did you get any fan letters from girls?
Oh, I don't think I did. No, I
Disappointing.
remember my little cousin she was more the age group of My Guy readers, and all her friends at school were very impressed that she knew a My Guy model.
I bet I was as well. You know, I'm easily
Mm.
impressed. Right. So how long did you spend in Japan?
Well, I was there '86 with my boyfriend, and then we went traveling around
And which
Southeast Asia.
boyfriend was that?
Oh, I can't remember his name now,
Oh,
Sue.
good. That's all right then.
Uh, and well, we actually we split up when we came back to Britain. I had dysentery type illness. I went down to. Do you like medical stories, Sue? Is it
Yes,
all
I
right?
love them. I love them.
I went down to 7.5 stone, so I was like a skeleton. In fact, one day a friend of mine came and rang the doorbell, and I went to answer the door, and she said, "Oh my God, you look terrible. Is it AIDS?"
Yeah.
And I was a bit horrified. I said, "No, but thank you for your concern."
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, I recovered from that in Dumfries, and when I was well enough, the next year I went back to Japan and I worked in Tokyo and Osaka that time. I moved. I was bored. I'd done Tokyo before, and Osaka was near Kyoto,
Yeah.
so yeah, I really enjoyed it there.
Yeah. Because I've never been to Japan. I always think I'd be frightened because I won't understand any of the language or the signs. I'm sure I
No,
really.
yeah, you get on all right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened when you came back from Japan?
Well, then I was thinking about going to Italy. I don't know what happened. Oh, and then the friend I was going to be staying with in Italy moved to London with an old friend of mine from Japan, and there was a spare room, and he said, "Why don't you come and move in with us?" So I moved back to London.
And did you carry on modelling?
No, I got a job in Ivory's Piano Bar,
Where
do
was
you know,
that?
which was near St Catherine's Dock, just off between there and Cable Street.
Yeah.
It was
Very
really
before
camp.
that was fashionable.
It was a guy called Frederick ran it, and they had a grand piano, and it was all pink and champagne and
Yeah.
cocktails. After that, I worked in a place called the Locomotion, which was just off Leicester Square. Hello,
Yeah.
Glenn.
Oh, was the
Hello.
dog
You
coming?
want
Show
to
the
come and say
dogs.
hello
Everyone
too?
loves a dog.
Okay, right, you've got. Are you going out? Oh, Glenn.
Oh,
Oh, have
Glenn
you missed
loves
me?
you.
Oh, he's missed me. Hello, Glenn. Okay, right. Say hello to Sue.
Hi, Glenn.
Say hi. Oh,
Oh,
he
he
doesn't know
doesn't
where
not
you are.
interested in me. Ah,
Right, off you go.
ah. Yeah, so he went to the
Sorry.
Locomotion off Leicester Square.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think where I worked after that. I've gone a blank. Oh, that's my mum shutting the door.
Harvey Nichols, Gap, Post Office. You've frozen. Donald, you've frozen. Sorry, everyone. We try and get
So
him
if you
back.
leave, I
Sorry about
leave the other door open.
We're all right now.
Yeah.
If all else fails. Oh, there we go. I think the dog made the computer
Hello?
freeze. Yeah, you're right now. That's all right. I think the computer
Right.
froze the dog. So where are we? You've left Locomotion. What were you doing at Locomotion?
I was working the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
You've been a hard worker, Donald, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I can't think. After Locomotion, I would have started doing drag shows. I used to do Madame Jojo's.
Oh, yeah.
The piano bar. I worked in there, and I was also doing the powder room on a Wednesday night
Was that a heaven?
at Heaven, and then Thursday was I Seen I.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was singing and doing drag. That's about 89, 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're always more of a kind of underground drag performer. You're not sort of the old styly, were you?
No, not at all.
Or had
Very
a twist on it.
yeah, a bit twisted fashion drag,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Yeah. You've always been very creative with all your ideas, and you're very good at getting them done and doing them, which I'm always impressed with.
Yeah, well, and you too, Sue.
Oh,
Does Donald
Maggie.
do first in pencil, then do the line? Oh, right, yeah. What I do with my drawing is it's a 2B pencil always, because I'm obsessed with 2B. I'll draw it very lightly, and if there's any rubbing out needs done, rub it out. Get the basic design right, and then I get a very fine brush and slowly go around it with black ink. So
Yeah.
and then after that, you can rub the pencil mark out, and you end up with something really tidy.
Nice. See, my thing is when I do things with pencil, I leave the pencil in half the time because in my mind, that's telling a story. It's part of the picture, my process of doing it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, when I used to do flyers for my club, The Beautiful Bend, I would
Yeah.
always leave the pencil on that because when you take them to a photocopier, it rubs the pencil out. All you get is the ink.
Oh,
And
that's all right.
then years later, when I was showing these drawings in Germany, I think, was it Frankfurt or somewhere? they were horrified. They said in Germany we would never ever allow the showing of these pencil marks.
But that's a really funny thing, because I think in art you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
It's your
but
picture, it's your choice.
I think a professional illustrator would never
Oh, right.
leave a pencil mark in.
Yeah, because if you, I suppose, illustration as a job is different to artist as a job, isn't it?
Well, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you call yourself an artist or an illustrator?
It depends if I'm doing art or illustration.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, illustrator could mean, for example, like this. I would say that's
Is
an
that what you do?
illustration.
Yeah. But it's also art as
But,
well, isn't it?
well, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think any drawings are. So, as we're talking about art, how did your art career take off? Because one minute you're signing on, working in Gap and that. Next minute you're world acclaimed artist, Donald.
Well,
How
yeah,
did that
it took
happen?
me by surprise, Sue. It was basically I was doing the club, The Beautiful Bend,
Yeah,
and when I did it in the 90s with Sheila Tequila and DJ Harvey,
yeah.
we used to paint on the walls and have all sorts of wild decorations. But then I'd have to go and paint over the walls, and they got so thick with paint that Central Station had to have a refurb and chip all the painted over walls off because they were
Yeah.
damp as well. There was big bubbles of paint. And they said, look, you can't paint on the walls anymore. Why don't you put up photocopies? So I started filling these A3 sketchbooks with drawings, ink them over, photocopy them, put them up A3 size, and people would take them home at the end of the night as a kind of souvenir.
Oh, wish I'd
So,
taken one.
so yeah, I ended up with about 20 sketchbooks full of drawings, and there was
Yeah.
a gallery owner came down to the club and he said, I really like your drawings. Have you ever thought about showing them? And I said, well, no. And he said, well, bring them to the gallery. So at the time I was working as a postman, so I put a few sketchbooks in my postman's bag, went in, and he said, oh, very nice, very nice. I'm going to frame about 10 of them. I'm going to take some to the Armory show in New York. And
Amazing.
I think he sold 3 or 4 of them to the
Yeah.
Museum of Modern Art.
That's incredible. You've frozen again. Can you press a couple of buttons on the computer? Because you've frozen. It's good for drawing, but we can't hear you. I'm sorry about this, everyone. We're doing our best.
Oh,
Oh, here he
I'm
comes
back.
again.
If you leave it open, I'll get the Wi-Fi.
Oh, didn't that see the
Right.
door? Right. Well, no one
Yeah.
will mind the dog coming in. They love a dog.
No, I
Now,
don't mind the dog coming in.
yeah.
Hey, Glenn.
So how amazing that you really didn't have the thought in your head to go and be an artist. Then it just happened to you.
Yeah.
But I find that my life's like that, really. I don't really aim for anything. Things just happen.
Yeah, they do. Come on, Glenn. You're not going out. Come on. This way.
But going to the
Oh,
armory in New York's amazing.
well, it is. I mean, I had no idea about it. But after that, he showed some in Shoreditch in London, Magnani
Yeah.
Gallery. And after that, I was asked to show with Maureen Paley.
Yeah.
Oh, and then after that, I was nominated to be in the Beck's Futures Award. So that was kind of incredible.
Yeah.
On a very
So I
short.
remember at one point, do you remember that you were on the list of the top 100 most influential artists in the world?
That's right. Hear that, Glenn? What about
Yeah.
that?
You should be proud of Donald, Glenn.
You should, yes.
And let me think. And then Bistro Tech have always been very good to you, haven't you? And used your pictures a lot.
That's right, yeah. Always big fans, Bistro Tech. I did that little shrimpies in King's Cross. Do you remember that? A little. Are you getting me?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
back.
it was the all-night garage in King's Cross. They converted it into a restaurant. and
Yeah.
I did some designs for the decor in there.
I know, it was lovely.
Yeah.
And then you've made films as well.
We're starring you.
One of which I was, well, I wouldn't say starring, I'd say a minor role.
I see.
What was I, some cleaning woman or something?
That's right. Yeah, you were a
Yeah, it wasn't
featured,
glamorous.
but it was a pivotal role, Sue.
It was
Pivotal.
pivotal, yeah. It meant a lot. But the best thing was, wasn't it, that it got shown at Frieze and we had our picture taken by David Bailey for Vogue.
David Bailey for Vogue, exactly.
I was
Yeah.
very proud. And I did tell everyone, they went, it's a very small picture, Sue. I went, well, it's still David Bailey in Vogue, even though it's tiny. And, right, so what are you working on at the moment?
Well, I've just been doing some illustrations for a monthly newsletter horoscope for a Paradust blog in New York.
Yeah.
You hear that, Glenn? I can show you some if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, please do.
I don't know, Glenn. You won't fall off, will you, Glenn, if I do this? Don't fall
Go
off.
on, Glenn, behave.
Right.
I like the way Glenn matches your jumper.
It's intentional.
Oh, very good.
So, yeah. Oh, that one's
Who's
Aries.
that?
It's
Yeah.
Billie Holiday representing Aries. And then...
You are very tidy in your book, aren't you?
I am. This one is
Keith Haring.
Keith Haring for
Did you watch
Taurus.
that documentary that was on about him a while ago?
I didn't see that. No,
Oh,
not yet.
I very much enjoyed it. He was so young when he died.
Ah.
Yeah, it was good. Those two twins.
Those two twins for Gemini. Oh, and
Debbie Harry.
Debbie Harry for Cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep
the
telling this
lion from Wizard of Oz.
Bert Lahr from the Wizard of Oz. This one's a bit more difficult to see. Peggy Guggenheim.
I wouldn't recognise her.
Yeah, no, well, not many people would, but that's Virgo. And then here's one. Oh,
is that?
It's Libra. It's Joey Arias.
I knew it was. I've seen him in concert. I've seen him do a show.
Yeah, who's that one? Oh,
hang on. Oh, I don't know.
Edith Bouvier-Beale. Edith Bouvier-Beale from Grey Gardens. And this one is...
Can't see.
You can see that. Bette Midler, Sagittarius. And this one, Ethel Merman.
Now, I've got a question for you, Donald. Why you seem so keen on camp women? Camp old women. You love them, don't you?
People like you.
My camp old woman.
Yeah, Sue, you're very camp. Very camp indeed. I don't know what it is. What draws me to these hilarious, fascinating, fabulous, glamorous people?
Yeah. Just...
Hey, Glenn.
Oh. And what else can we talk about? Look at my head. Now, so are they in a magazine? Are they available to purchase those prints or?
No, they're online at the moment, just as little symbols in a zodiac that you get sent out.
Yeah. And what website be?
It's Paridust, PARIDUST.com. It's PARI, bit like Paris, as in Paris without the S, and then dust, as in, look at the Mountaineer, dust. Yeah.
All right, I'll have a look at that then. And, because you lived in Paris for a while, didn't you?
Well, I did, yes.
And how was that?
Entre nous, merveilleux, madame, merveilleux.
I know you found a nice friendship with a pigeon, didn't you, when you were there?
I did. Little Snowy used to come and visit me every morning on my balcony. And also well, I was seeing Mr. Pearl all the time because he was hard
Oh
at
yeah,
work.
yeah. Because if people don't know, Mr. Pearl's an amazing corsetier, I'd say. And he used to make corsets for Lee, and he was well known for having, was it a 13-inch waist?
Something like that, Sue. Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
remember when Lee was dying, Mr. Pearl came to visit him at the hospital, and we all had to wear pinnies on the front because of germs. And then when he turned round, I've never, like nurses, you imagine they've seen everything, really. They
Yeah.
were just like dumbstruck, nudge each other, going, "Look at that man's waist!" Because he used to wear really tightly fitted jackets. But I've heard that he's given up. Is this the case?
Oh, yeah, he'd given up when I was in Paris. It was bad for him. His doctor said,
Yeah.
"You
And
can't
how
do this
many
to your..."
years does he have that corset for and that waist?
Oh, I mean, 20 years
Yeah,
more.
a long time. It must have been agony. Because I went out for dinner with him and he could only eat little tiny bits of anything
Oh, yeah. They couldn't have
because it
anything
was
that
so
bloated them
painful.
either. Yeah. Oh no, but he ate like a horse when I was living in Paris with him.
Oh, well, when he took it off.
Oh yeah, but he was able to eat fine. Yeah.
Good. Because he does one of the most beautiful things I ever did. He did was Vivienne Westwood, that corset with the beads like a bleeding heart.
Oh, that's beautiful. That one. Yeah.
Love that.
Mm.
Yes. Do you still live in Paris or is he back?
He's in Edinburgh. He moved
Oh,
back after I moved back to
yeah.
Scotland. Yeah.
So do you ever see him still?
I haven't seen him for a while. Not since last year, actually. I haven't seen
Yeah.
him this year.
Yeah, well, you can't do much this year, can you? You can't really go and see anyone.
No, I can't go on a bus or anything. It's awful. Can't go to London.
I know. How
Yeah,
do you cope during lockdown?
I've got Glenn. So,
Oh,
um, so you just got to take one day at a time and don't feel pressured. Don't feel like you should be doing normal things. Just kind of get into the new weirdness, you know?
oh, Jackie Wright wants to know more
Oh,
about
hello.
Paris.
Jackie.
Do you
Oh,
know
off you
Jackie?
go. I do know Jackie. We were at school together. She was in my art.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, in secondary school. Yeah. Hi, Jackie.
She wants to
Um,
know about Paris.
well, Paris. It was strange for me because, I was in Montmartre in this studio in a walled garden, and I didn't have any internet. I had a two-ring stove, a pan and a frying pan,
Yeah.
and I thought I'm in the middle of Paris with the basics of life, and I couldn't get the internet until I'd had a bank account for 3 months. There was all this, everything's so complicated.
Yeah.
And my French was really rusty. I mean, I understood French, but speaking it wasn't happening at first.
Yeah.
But I just thought, this is good. This is really good for me to focus on who I am and what I want to do
Yeah.
and not be distracted by your everyday life. It's good at some point in your life just to remove yourself completely from your situation.
Mm.
And how old was that? I was 48 or 49, I think. It was a
Yeah.
clean slate, a fresh outlook.
Did you do much work while you were there?
No. Well, yes, I did. I managed to do a little book about Lee Bowery
Yeah.
for a show in Rome, and they were putting on an exhibition in Vienna at that time on Lee, and I helped
Yeah.
them to get in touch with people for that, and I had a catalogue of Lee's garments that I'd done with Nicola.
Oh, I
Uh,
remember you doing that. Yeah. Didn't you help
yeah,
Nicola do that Australian guy for that Australian?
that's right. I think she just bought her house in Brighton at that
Yeah.
point, and everything of Lee's was in the attic. And I remember it was 95 degrees or something, and we were going up and down a ladder to the attic with all these massive costumes, shoving them through
Yeah.
the hole, putting them on a stand, photographing them, writing down what they were. That was really exhausting, but what a lot of stuff he made. I'd never seen
I
it
know.
all before in its entirety, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And because I went to Australia and the man kind of made out he did everything himself.
Oh yeah,
But
that funny man.
yeah, he was rather odd, wasn't he? He was
Yeah.
rather fond of himself, I have to say.
He was.
Yeah, like going on to me like he was the best man in the world. Oh, why did you move back to Scotland? Look, David Beckham's asking you that question.
Ah, well, well, moving from Paris back to London, I'd already left London because it wasn't the London I'd moved to when I first moved there. It had just gone a bit yuppified. Everyone had, well, there was the whole beard thing. Everyone was going around with beards and
Hipsters.
looking hipsters. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It had all gone hipster and all very gentrified. And after Paris, I didn't want to go back to that, and I thought, well, I'll move to Dumfries for a while, and I'll see how I feel about moving somewhere else. And I actually found that I enjoyed this much better than I would have enjoyed London. It just wasn't the same London, you know. And I can go to Glasgow. I've been doing bits and pieces of artwork in Aberdeen, so it's not a bad place to be.
I know. See, I'm the one, I left London. Who would have thought that I'd ever have left London? I loved it so much.
I
But
know, so London. You're such a London girl, Sue.
I know. But I think that I'm very glad that I wasn't in London during lockdown and everything because it sounded horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, at least here I've got a garden and everything.
Well, and you've got the sea. You've got
Exactly.
fresh
That makes
air.
great. I
You've got
know.
lots
Are
of
you
friends there too.
come?
You've
What
got
do you
lots of
say?
friends there too.
I know.
Um,
They're all moving here.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm near the sea. Um,
Yeah.
I'm on a tidal river. I think it would take me something like 20 minutes to walk along the river down to the
Yeah.
sea.
Oh, how
So,
lovely.
yeah.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Paul
Been me
Wames,
round.
live from Hull. Tell us about
Right.
your friendship with Pete Burns.
Well, Pete loved my. I used to dance in drag all the time, and he loved my outfits. He used to stand just staring at me, mesmerised, and he said, "We're doing a tour, and I want you to come on tour." So I said, "Oh, all right." I think I was working at Harvey Nichols or Liberty at that
Yeah.
point. I was working at Liberty. So I went to this gym where he was doing his rehearsals, and I had to wear high heels to rehearse. And my part of the show was I was to come out with a violin, and then I was to set it on fire. And we're going to do this at Kinky Galinky. That was the first time. Anyway, the night came, and the stage manager said, "No way, you're not setting this on fire and throwing it into the crowd." So Pete said, "Okay, just smash it." So I smashed the violin. But this continued on the tour. Everywhere we went, he'd have the same conversation. Right, and he's going to set it on fire and go up in flames. But they never allowed me to. So I smashed a lot of violins.
I hope they weren't
Uh,
Stradivarius.
no, no, they weren't. They were just knackered old things that
Yeah.
they found in shops. But yeah, it was. What can I say? Another world, another dimension when you're
So
in
what
Pete.
was his most bizarre behaviour?
Well, I think the poltergeists, because I would be in bed and I'd hear him clack, clack, clack coming up the stairs. Donald, Donald, wake up! We've got a poltergeist, and I'd be like, oh, what now? And I'd go into his room and there'd be no duvet. So getting
Yeah.
really tired. I'd open the wardrobe and the duvet would be in the wardrobe. How did it get there? And there'd be one of his stiletto shoes would be glued to a car outside the house, and he'd say, "Oh, it's the poltergeist," and yeah, the poltergeist got a bit boring after a while. But
We just thought did he really think there was a poltergeist, or was he trying to get you to believe there was one?
I think he was entertaining himself and entertaining me,
Yeah.
and he was also seeing how, because he was gaslighting me. I went to a doctor at one point, and the doctor said, "Have you ever seen the film Gaslight?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Yes, I have." he wanted to know how much of his lies I would believe and how far I would try and lie to him that I believed them, that
Yeah. Oh, I love stories like this.
I was going along with these lies. So I don't know. Sometimes he would be saying really ridiculous things. I remember one night in particular, I had this cup of coffee and I was biting it, trying not to laugh at it. And he went, "Are you
Yeah.
laughing at me, Donald? Are you laughing?" And I was laughing because he was telling some story about how he bought a stuffed boy. It was a human corpse that had been embalmed, and he'd bought it in Portobello, but he took it to a graveyard and it went missing. And then the next day it was at his window and all this kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm meant to believe this. But he lived a fantasy life. He was very Norma Desmond, very
He
Sunset Boulevard.
certainly did. Oh,
Yeah.
so how long did the tour go on for?
Oh, what did we did? What did we do? Liverpool, Manchester, Blackpool, and Krefeld in Germany, which
Oh, so
was
it was international then.
it was well, it was called Pete Burns and the Sexy Assassins at that point. And in Krefeld, we were told that we were the worst act that had ever been seen live in Germany ever,
That's
ever.
fantastic. Thing told. I'll be thrilled.
And we were because Pete. It was too late coming on stage. Me and Gina Farla had sort of danced to 4 beer backing tracks with no
Yeah.
singing that he was meant to be singing on while we waited for him to come on, and he wasn't even fully dressed when he did come on. Yeah, and I had to help him sing all the lyrics that he'd forgot. So yeah, it was a mess.
Oh, bless him.
Worst show
Now,
ever in Germany.
I remember. I remember when I asked you to do this, you told me you had a gruesome story to tell me about a medical thing. Was it when you broke your arm?
Might be my finger.
Oh, because I'm sure you said you had a terrible medical story to
Oh
tell
no!
me.
Well, I was. That's what. No, I wasn't. I telling you about when I had dysentery and I went down to 7.5
Yeah,
stone. I've told
no,
you
I'm
that
sure there
one.
was another medical story you said you were going to tell me. But you did
Well,
recently break your arm, didn't you?
I didn't break my arm. I lost the top of my finger.
Oh, oh, that's still quite.
I
Oh, how'd you do that?
don't know if I can get you to see that. Look,
Yeah.
it's
Don't
very
you find
Halloween.
it's really weird, this StreamYard, because it's the opposite way to what you think?
I know it's very
I know
dyslexia.
it's creepy. So what did you do to lose the top of your finger?
Well, I was walking my friend's dog around a field, and I mean, once a year I would go and live in his house when he went on holiday. He'd gone away to Germany. This was
Yeah.
the first day, so we walked around the field in one of these big, long, extendable leads. I let the dog go under this 5-bar gate while I went over the top. And on the other side, I picked up the lead, and the dog was lying down, and I thought, that's not right. And I looked up there was a little kind of dirt path, and there was a cat lying, and the cat leapt into a hedge. The dog leapt into a hedge. The lead went really tight and sliced the top of my finger off. The last thing I remember was looking through my fingernail in reverse, and it was clear as it fell off. So I knew that the from the knuckle up was
Yeah.
gone. So I just made my hand into a fist, got the dog with the lead, got it into the cottage it was staying in, took it off the lead,
Did you
got the
look for the
keys.
bit of finger?
No, it had
Oh,
smashed and it would have
oh
been in
right. Oh, yeah.
mud.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I didn't because I could have reinfected myself. I could have got
Oh,
an
yeah.
infection. So I just there was a towel hanging up that had just been washed. Put that round my hand, got some ice in it. Went outside, no phone signal, and there was blood. And I thought, ah. And I was in the countryside, but I'd remembered seeing a builder's van up this little dirt track outside a cottage. So I went to that, and the builder was getting in his van, and he drove me to hospital. And
Yeah.
I was there in 10 minutes, and they said, "Well, we're just going to have to see how much skin we can pull over the end of this." to see whether or not we're going to have to file the bone down. And there wasn't enough skin, so they said, we're going to have to rinse it thoroughly. They've sloshed a lot of water into the wound and rinsed it, filed the bone down. And I'd never had an operation in my life. This is my first time under general anaesthetic. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you're disappearing again.
So they put me under.
Tell me more about the.
Oh, can you hear me?
Anaesthetic.
Oh, the anaesthetic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I woke up and no end of my finger. The odd thing is that getting it to move again has taken much longer than I expected, because at first I just had to have it in a sling with a bandage on it. The dissolvable stitches had come out, that's right.
Yeah.
And it was odd. Every time I went to get it checked over, they said, "Oh, that's fantastic! No infection, no infection." Like they were expecting infection.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go back to hospital with infections. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it wasn't infected. And yeah, now I've just got a shorter finger.
Does it bother you at all? Do you mind it? Because you remember Graham Stevens, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yes, it's 6 years since he died today, but he lost his finger in an industrial accident when he was really young, and he was so mortified. He always used to sit like that, so you couldn't notice that he didn't have the end of his finger. I go, Graham, embrace it. It's marvellous. It's a feature.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I'm not going to start hiding my hand away and finding new ways to sit and all this kind of thing. If you can't hide it, make a feature of it. It's it's part of who I am. It's part of what I am. So
yeah. Anyone got any more questions? Because we've only got. I know the time goes very quick. We've only got about 10 minutes left. Any more questions of interest to Donald and his time with Pete Burns? Oh, you made the sling yourself.
Oh,
didn't
the sling.
You? Your own print.
I made it out of. Thank you, Jackie. I made it out of a tea towel. I had different ones that I printed with beautiful bend pictures, and my favourite one was one with Betty Davis's face all over it, with an eye patch and things like that.
I know. Well, I know it looked very glamorous.
It did. I made the best of it, I think. Yeah.
Where did you get that jumper from? It's lovely.
I got this in TK Maxx, Sue. It's a
Donegal.
Designed? It is. It's a Donegal pattern. This.
Yeah. It's
with yeah, I can't even touch the. I'm going like that.
I know.
But this.
Everyone, I've told you this before. At StreamYard, it's not like a mirror image. It's the opposite way, so you get all confused what you're doing.
Yeah, because the door's there. Oh, but I'm pointing with this hand. It's all odd here.
Oh, it's very bizarre. It takes me a while to get used to it. Yeah, but it's a lovely jumper.
It is. It's the only thing I've bought for ages.
Is it? It was worth it. It's lovely.
The lockdown in Dumfries. I mean, there's New Look, and there's Burton's. And
I didn't know Burton's existed.
Yeah, there's a JD Sport. There's not a lot. So a TK Maxx, that's the only place I've been to get anything. And I thought, winter's coming, I'll get a new jumper.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Would you like to relive the 80s just a wee bit?
Ooh. I don't know. I see it as a kind of frantic, boozy mess, the 80s. Kind of desperate times, but exciting when you look back on it, but you forget how boring and repetitive the 80s were as well. There was nothing on TV. You ended up watching The Hitman and Her if you didn't have any money to go out. No internet.
No mobile phones.
That's it. No mobiles. You had to phone up your friends on your landline. Yeah. No.
How do you feel about getting? Oh yeah. How did you meet superstar DJ Harvey? Oh, that's remarkable.
Hello, Mark. me and Harvey were neighbours. He lived across the street from me when we lived in Wharfdale Road,
You
and
live.
I knew him through Fiona, who did Sign of the Times parties, and we met him in the street one day, and he said, "Come on, let's go to Central Station for a drink." And he said, "I used to do clubs down here in the basement in the old rave days when it was the Prince Albert." And he said, "Do you fancy doing another club here?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what about getting your friend Sheila Tequila on board?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea." And he said, "We'll have it for like trannies." And I said, "Oh, I don't know about that." And we all talked about it for a while, and eventually we thought, well, let's just have it for anybody. Anything goes. Everybody's welcome, no matter what you are. If you're a tranny or you want to wear sportswear, whatever you want to wear. And that's how we started doing the Beautiful Bend. Harvey in those days had been doing Tonka, and he was working at the Ministry of Sound. I think that was 93.
Yeah.
I think 93. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Oh, right. Okay.
No, I
Yeah,
can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
back on now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're back on. Yeah, with only minutes to go.
Yeah.
I haven't done much modelling. Do you want some more modelling, anyone?
Yes, nice positions, I think. Is your hair still very long on top? Do you make the curl? Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah. Do you mind getting older?
Well, you get used to it. I mean, I used to think that being old was being 30 when I was 17. And then when you're 30, you think, oh my God, I'm going to be really old when I'm 40. And then the next thing, you're 57. And I don't particularly think of myself as an old person. Actually, when I had this accident, the doctor said to me, and I'd come round from the operation, he said, you know, you're young, fit and healthy. And I said, look, it's me you're talking to. I'm 57. No, I was 56 then. He said, no. He said, you're actually really fit. You've never been to your doctor for 15 years apart from to have a checkup to find out if you were healthy, and it turned out that you were. He said, you're never ill, are you? I said, no, I'm not. He said, well, you're fit, you're healthy, and you're young. So
yeah,
there you go. I never thought I was.
I know. I don't care about getting. I thoroughly enjoy getting old. To be honest, I'm quite but
Well,
I still live the
I,
life of a child.
so do
Huh?
I. Sue, this isn't a glass. This isn't a glass of water. It's a gin and tonic.
Mine's water. I'm being boring.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, but I just think knocking on. Oh, there we go, Anthony Duckwood.
Thank you. Yeah, a favourite of mine too.
Yeah, what did you do that for?
It was a show called The Black Album at Maureen Paley Gallery, and it's now with Charles Saatchi.
Oh,
he shows it in his gallery.
Yeah. Oh, Anthony designs banknotes.
Oh, lovely.
Quite an interesting job, I imagine.
Yeah.
I'm going to his house on Wednesday, so I might find out more.
Oh, look under his bed, see if there's some banknotes there.
I know, around.
Yeah, stuffed under the mattress.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. Must be a funny job. So what's the future holding for you, Donald?
Well, hopefully some travel at some point, but
I know you travel a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, but I won't be going anywhere now with all these lockdowns. I can't see myself getting to London. I'm not going there in January for Burns Night like usual. I haven't been to Glasgow for about a year. So, hopefully travel.
I know. See, I'm not overly keen on travelling. Stacey's good. I haven't been abroad for 3 years, and that was only for 2 nights. So this suits me down to the ground. So I've got an excuse not to have to go travelling.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I saw a friend the other day, and he told me that once the lockdown was lifted, he works from home. He'd gone on loads of trips to Europe because the flights are really cheap airports are empty, and he went to all the museums and art galleries because they were empty. And he said it was absolutely lovely.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so but the thing is, he said that, I said, what about quarantining when you get back? He went, no one ever asked me for my name or address or anything.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow.
As he worked, he could easily have done it because he worked from home, but didn't really have to because they never checked up.
That's right, yeah.
I know, because I've got a friend from Portugal here at the moment, and he did quite good for 2 weeks, but the police never rang or anything. I went,
Ah, yeah,
So
I
that was.
don't care.
Oh, here we are, Vanessa Crawford. Vanessa Crawford. She's a
thank
lovely
you.
lady. We've ignited her interest in art, so she started drawing again, which is lovely.
Oh, nice to hear, Vanessa.
You have got a lovely voice, Donald. Oh, we got a picture up.
Oh, that's
Donald,
super.
it's like a
Me,
photograph.
it's me and
Lovely.
Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Glenn. They've got the pattern on your jumper. Have any else
Yeah.
come in yet, Dan? Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
another
Who's that?
one.
Jan. Got a very orange jumper on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, I love that.
Who did that one? I can't recognise that. It looks a bit like Hiziru, but she hasn't got the little stars in the background.
There's no stars. Yeah.
No. Anyone else coming? Oh, I love that one. Oh,
Oh,
you look very angry there, but I like it.
dude, that's very good how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Expressionist.
Yeah. Oh, then. Oh,
Oh,
that's
really good.
beautiful. I don't
Really
know who.
excellent.
I know. I can't wait to see who drew it because I don't recognise the style.
Me
But they've
too.
got a lovely what's the
A
word?
lovely line, a lovely touch.
Yeah, they have very good eyes at seeing that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, type up who did it. Type up the message saying who you are, who did that picture, so we can flatter you. Oh, I'll find out eventually. Thing is, when you say send a message, it takes quite a while for them to appear.
Well, I'll have to have a look later when you show them all.
Oh yeah, I will. Don't worry. Now, I better tell everyone who I've got next week. I've got, because it's Halloween. Oh, Tara Bissett. Oh, she always does beautiful drawings. She said she hadn't drawn for a long time. That's gorgeous.
Oh, that's Tara Bissett.
Yeah. So I'm just telling everyone who next week my models are. You packing your bag? Are Jane Pollard and Ian Forsyth, who are filmmakers. They're a bit gothy. They're hilarious, and they've recently made a film about Nick Cave, and they're very funny and amusing. So they're sort of artists as well. They've got a studio at what's that place that used to have all your records? Somerset House. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. So that's a double one next week for you because they're work partners and romantic partners as well. So you can get all the business of them. Any more questions for Donald? In Dumfries? That I discovered was only 4 hours from London of a train. Oh, what are your influence in terms of artists or illustrators?
When I was a child, I used to draw Walt Disney pictures quite a lot, and I always really liked the Bruins and Oor Willie in the Sunday Post, which is a Scottish Sunday newspaper. The black and white ink drawings. So I think my earliest influences.
What about Aubrey Beardsley?
Yeah, Aubry Beardsley, another influence, I would say. I've always really liked his work.
I know, I was looking him up today. He died when he was 25. He did a lot, didn't he?
I know, terrible. Yeah.
TB.
I know.
Luckily, we don't get that anymore, really.
No, I know it on its way out, but who knows what's around the corner?
No, we haven't got TB, we've just got COVID. Or what's that one? COVID extra or whatever it is when you never get better.
Long COVID.
That, you know what they call it when you don't get better? COVID something or other. I hope I don't get it.
COVID care, yeah.
I know. So, any last questions, anyone? Oh no. Well, we see you next week, everyone. So please sign in at 7:30 for the lovely world of Ian and Jane, who I'm sure you will find most amusing and interesting, and they'll be coming to us live from Bethnal Green.
Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you very much, Donald. It was lovely to have a chat with you because I found out lots of info I wanted to know, and I've forgotten how many things we've done together, really. You've been a
Many
very
things.
busy person.
You've been a very
Creative.
big part of my life, Sue. You have.
Thank
It's been
you. Thanks.
a pleasure.
Thanks. Starring in the film. Well, everyone, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for watching and see you next week. Bye.